Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yeah, as we stopped till 250th question in the previous video, let's continue with 251st question. Okay, so guys, I repeat, if you want this PDF, I have given a link in the description and also in the comment section. Please do check out. It contains the complete set of interview preparation materials along with company specific interview questions and answers for clearing any interviews and also to work in the real time interview. Sorry, in the real time working project. Okay, so let's get started. What is a test planning? What are the commonly used testing types across the industries? What are the steps to follow when you discover a defect? How would you resolve conflict amongst the team members? What is Charles proxy testing? What is meaning of code walkthrough? What things to consider while project monitoring? Can you list the common pitfalls or mistakes that create issues in project delivery? What are the basic components of a defect report format? What is risk-based testing? When is used decision table testing? What is a proxy server? What is a test environment? What is a test execution? What's the difference between test scenarios, test cases and test script? What are all the things that you consider before selecting automation tools for application under test? How will you conduct risk analysis? How would you allocate responsibilities to your team members? What is a Docker? What is ETL testing or data warehouse testing? What steps would you verify in case your desktop takes too long to start up? What do you mean by defect triage? What is a test harness? Why do we need test harness? Why software has bugs? What is a cause effect graph? What's the different strategies for rollout to end users? What are error guessing and error seeding? Do you feel comfortable standing up to the developers who disagree with your results? Are you willing to cut corners to save time? What is a validation in software testing? What is a verification in software testing? What is API testing? What is web service testing? What is a postman? What is rest assured? What is a cucumber? What is a capybara? What is a Salesforce? What is a testing? Testing framework mean? What is a Team City? What is Gradle? What is a framework? Have you heard about Teradata? Have you heard about Hadoop? Have you heard about Anasoft Agile Planning Tool? What is Jira issue and project tracking tool? What do you think our company could do better? What experience do you have with developing corner cases? Explain any of the bug tracking tool. What is DevTrack cloud based development? Did you use TestRail test case management tool? What is a configuration management? What are popular configuration management tools you have heard of? What is a scalability testing? What is a concurrency testing? What is endurance testing? Have you appeared for ISTQB foundation test? When should you stop software testing activities? Can you explain the short 7 principles of software testing? What is defect clustering? What is defect density? What is the age of defect? What is a build? What is a release? Explain the difference between build and release. Can you list some continuous integration tools? Can you list some continuous deployment tools? What tools for version control have you used? What API tools you are aware of? What are the test management tools did you use? What is CRUD stands for? What are the important web browsers do you know? What operating systems you are aware of? What is a CRM software? List few of CRM software used for customer relationship management. What is cyclomatic complexity in software testing? Mention the categories of debugging. How do you go about learning a new product? Have you coped with having to learn any skills? What is performance testing? What is load testing? What is trust testing? What is a spike testing? What is volume testing? How well do you work with others? What motivates you? Have you worked as an independent contributor? Explain plan, do, check, act cycle. Give one example of high priority and high severity. Give one example of high priority, low severity, and similarly give one example of low priority and high severity, and give one example of low priority and low severity. Describe a situation where you successfully collaborated with developers to deploy a program or an application. Describe a time when you acted proactively to increase the system performance. How do you keep up to date with industry developments? Are there specific blogs or forums you read? What process are you using for testing currently? Can you describe how you might improve it? What is your favorite testing tool? Why, if some technical constraint meant you were unable to use it, what would you do instead? How to handle a situation where you need to have where you don't have time for completing the testing. Do you measure how effective your testing is? What metrics do you use? How well do you work under the pressure when with deadlines? What are the different software testing methods are used by software company? Name some of the test cases that you can automate. Name some rollout strategies for end users. What is application binary interface? What is an interruption testing? What is capability maturity model? What is a case? When is a case when where automating a test case is not viable solution? How well do you deal with ambiguity? What is emulator? What is simulator? What is a cast? What is race condition? What is binary portability testing? What are the challenges that you face as a software tester in the current or previous company? What's the difference between functional and non-functional testing? List REST constraints that describe basis of RESTful cycle. What 201 HTTP response code describes. What is a status code for internal server error? Have you come across 404 response code? What is the difference between put and post in case of REST API? What is expected for a manual tester to master automation testing? What could go wrong during execution of automation script to test application? What is a Unix command to read contents of a file? What is a Unix command to run the programs with security privileges? What is a Unix command to copy file from remote machine? How multiple inheritance feature can be used in Java? What is an interface in Java? What are the various permissions to access the file? What is a Unix command to change the access mode of a file? What is a silk test? What is an error seeding? What is a data-driven testing in automation testing? What is decided by a project head as a candidate while taking an interview? Okay, while taking an interview, sorry. List classes and interface from Java collection framework. What is the difference between SVN and Git? What is a Git? Can you explain how a page of any web portal would display that sell software online allowing free downloads? What is a artificial intelligence? Have you heard of Internet of Things? Explain how can Internet of Things can be used in advantage. In order to check the condition frequently, what do you use in a program? What various loop types are you aware of, say in Java? What are the steps you take when things does not work? What is your approach when automation script does not work? How would you approach your seniors and request them to help you resolve the issue? Have you done test environment setup by yourself? How do you configure Tomcat server? Okay, if you are using a older version in your project, and where do you gather test data from to test social networking site prototype? What is a sentiment analysis? How would you list features from the requirement? What is the difference between multitasking and multi-threading? What are the differences between collection types, example enumeration and iterator? Why do we use joins in SQL? What is a penetration testing? What can one track with history of changes using version control software? How would you test application related to payments domain? What do you know about iOS and mobile testing? Explain what do you mean by UML diagram? How would you configure an open source software into a system? Have you heard of Oracle PL or SQL? What are stored procedures? Give a situation where triggers are used. What is the difference between XML and JSON? What do you mean by protocol testing? How would you test free online video making software? Can you write the test cases for PDF to PNG converter software? Write test cases on WhatsApp application. Write test cases on Google Drive. Can you write what is the difference between Can you tell what is the difference between arrays and collections in Java? Can you write the test cases on Shapefile or file share software? What is the advantages of using collection over arrays? What is the difference between classes and interface? How would you plot a pie chart between two parameters, sales amount versus years using spreadsheet, say MS Excel? Have you heard of headless testing? Why API testing is so important over graphical user interface testing? Give Give some of the names of API testing tools other than SOAP UI and Postman. What are the few important queries to inquire before automating a web service? Explain web service terminologies. What are elements of a SOAP message? What is an importance of cookies? What are the main requirement of web service to be RESTful? What is phishing? What is test driven testing? What is a task scheduler in Windows? How gaming software is tested? What gaming platforms are used to test gaming software? What are test techniques for testing a gaming software? What is visual testing? What are the requirements of ETL testing? Can you think some areas where very huge data exchange takes place? Give example of some of the big data databases. Give some example of unstructured data. What is log4j used in Java program? Name few cloud service providers. What are the components of AWS? Do you know any Java web services framework? Give an example of simple join or normal join. Okay. And where will you use the left join? Okay. Where will you use the right join? Give an example to understand the full join or full outer join. What JavaScript is used for? Name some of the JavaScript libraries used in client-side programs. What are Apache Tomcat components? What is Catalina in Tomcat? What can be used to handle multiple elements in absence of collection classes and interface? What is a list? What is a set? Difference between list and set. What is an array list? What is a linked list? What is similarities and difference between classes and interface? What is a command to print out comments information in Linux? How would you view file kept in machine having Linux operating system? I want to read a file one page at a time in Linux. What command should I use? I want to find out what were the first 10 lines of a text file. What command should I use in Linux? Tell me a command to read last 10 lines of say log file in the Linux. I want to create an empty text file. What command you think I should use in Linux? I want to copy all the files and directories to the destination directory. Tell me a Linux command. Guys, Unix or Linux, this is very important for database testing, okay, or in the ETL testing. So please be aware of all the commands. Okay, what is a command to display IP address of your system? The next question is, I tried using ifconfig command to find out my IP address. Sorry. Okay, we are back. So I tried using ifconfig command to find out my IP address, but it did not display. How can I still get IP address using ifconfig? What is ping command in Linux? How would you resolve the issue if your Chrome browser stops working? What is NS lookup command in Windows used for? What is regex and where can you use them? Have you used JMeter before and what did you test using JMeter? Why do you use thread group in JMeter? Why we use timer in JMeter? How would you achieve page refresh by pressing a single key, by press of a single key? What is the difference between Alt plus tab and Control plus tab? What are features? What is the functionality of a software or any product? What is a root cause analysis? What preventive measures should be taken to design defect-free software? What is a data warehouse testing? What is an importance of business intelligence? What are the benefits of data warehouse as a solution to store and gather data across various departments? And what is ETL process? What is a data structure? What operations can be performed on various data structures? What are basic types of data structure? What would you test Zoom before an interview? What are the requirements for testing electronics medical reports or equipments related to healthcare industries? What file sharing software you know that are available in the market? What role does UX and UI play in an application? What online education sites you know that are available in the market? What online video streaming platforms in India you have used or aware of? What are the common video format and when to use them? What is the use of grep command in Linux? How will you justify your position as a quality engineer? How would you feel when your product is appreciated what would you feel when your product is appreciated by clients? This is a happy question and a final question. Okay, so thank you so much for watching my video. I have uploaded this complete material in the interview full stack SDET interview preparation kit. So I have given a link in the description and also in the comment section. Please do check out. It's really and honestly helpful for cracking the interviews and also to work in real-time projects. It contains many and huge materials. So please let me know if you have any queries or questions in the comment section or drop me an email. Thank you so much for watching my video. All the best for your upcoming interview. Happy learning, happy testing. Stay tuned for more updates. Thank you.